want to say Kal, Halalium, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Harakakodash. Double honors be to the apostles, while elders of Great Millstone rule well. And shalom to the sincere brethren I came out there across the four winds, the four corners of the globe, pushing this good news of Yahweh Shai, proclaiming salvation to the elect of Israel, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, are proclaiming the destruction and enslavement of the Edomites and the rest of the heathen nations, and also the destruction of the 2/3 of Israel who refuse to turn back to Yahweh Yahweh Shai. Hey, so this is a lesson, I've been wanting to do for a minute, man. Even before this whole Deshaun Jackson thing come out, man. But there's a lesson going into how Amalek, the so-called Jews, run things in this world, man. And one of the main things they run, man, that Jake uphold is what? Sports, man. The NFL and the NBA. They run that, man. You understand? Jake play it, but Amalek run it, man. They own it. You understand? So this is the book of Job, chapter 9, verse 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? So that's why that Deshaun Jackson had to apologize, man, when he came up and tweeted against the so-called Jews. You know what I mean? Because what? The so-called Jews, they own the majority of the NFL franchises, man. And this is what I'm about to go through right now, man. I'm going to do a quick statistical analysis on the ownership of the NFL and NBA teams. You understand? Which we all know, Jake, 80% of the NFL and the NBA are so-called black men, man. Particularly from the tribe of Judah. You also have Benjamin, Levi up in there, but predominantly from the head tribe of Israel, the so-called African Americans, Judites. About 80% is made up of 80% of the leagues are made up of Judites. But guess what? How many Judites own them sporting teams? We are about to see. You understand? So this is the list of NFL franchise owners. So we have the Arizona Cardinals. So we have the owner is the estate of Bill Bidwell. Let me see. And a lot of these cats are crypto Jews also, meaning that what? Them or their ancestors changed their names, man. You understand? They rather be regarded as whether it be English, French, Italian, German, rather than being known as a so-called Jew. Because what? They know that the so-called Jews have a very bad reputation, man, to people who ain't know, to people outside of America, man. So they don't really have his lineage right here. So this is the owner of the Arizona Cardinals, William Vogel Bidwell. So okay, so that's one down. Let's go back. So we have the owner of the Atlanta Falcons, which is Arthur Blank. So there it is right there. Arthur Blank was born to a Jewish family in Flushing, New York, man. So the owner of the Atlanta Falcons is a so-called Jew, man. So that's one. Let me write that down. One. Arthur Blank. So the next owner, let's see his lineage. So the owner of the Baltimore Ravens, Steve Bisciotti, was born to a family in Philadelphia, Italian American. So hey, he might be a Jew, man, because like I said, man, a lot of them so-called Jews change their names, man, or they take on the nationality of the countries that they're from, man, whether it be Italy, Spain. Like Christopher Columbus, he was a so-called Jew. So okay, we ain't gonna write you down. So we ain't gonna write this one down. We ain't gonna count him. So next we have the Buffalo Bills, Terry Pagola. Okay, so they don't really have his lineage here. So okay, so we have 1 out of 4 so far, which is 25% so far, which is still a lot. Because when you think about it, how many so-called Jews play in the NFL league? There ain't no so-called Jews in the NFL or NBA. You understand? So 1 out of 4 so far. So we have the Carolina Panthers now. David Tepper. See, he was raised in a Jewish family in the Stanton neighborhood of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So the owner of the Pittsburgh Steelers is a so-called Jew, man. You understand? So let's write him down, David Tepper. So that's 2 so far. Fucking Satan, yo. Crashing down, man. Salakia. So you have the owner of the Chicago Bears, Virginia McCaskey. So let's see. She's Jewish. Okay, ain't no information saying that she's Jewish. So we're gonna move on. We have the owner of the Cincinnati Bengals, Mike Brown. See. Okay, no information so far that's saying he's Jewish. Next we have the owner of the Cleveland Browns, D. Haslam. Sound like a so-called Ishmaelite. Okay, so no. So going through the whole list, man. Jerry Jones, good old boy, Jerry Jones from the Dallas Cowboys. Which he's just a redneck cracker, man, from down south, man. Jerry Jones, man. You know what I mean? Nah, he's not as far as they have it, he's not a so-called Jew, Jerry Jones. But he's just a redneck, racist cracker who have Negroes, man, thinking that he loved them, man, that he favor them, man. When he just using you, man, for what you good for, man, which is running with a pigskin up and down the gridiron. You understand? So now we have the Denver Broncos, Joe Ellis. Let's see. Okay, so no Jewish. That they say here, no Jewish ties so far. So we have the Detroit Lions, Sheila Ford Hamp. She's probably from the Ford family. That's Detroit, man. So she probably from the Ford family, which the Ford family is probably crypto Jews themselves, man, because they one of the elite families, man. But as you can see, so far ain't no Jakes, man. No Israelites, you understand? Just Edomites, man. Edomites, Amalek Edomites, or Edomites from the other tribes of Edom, you understand? So next we have the Green Bay Packers, which they ain't owned by a particular person. They owned by like a conglomerate, the Green Bay Packers Inc. Know what I mean? Which is probably more than likely so-called Jews at the head of those conglomerates, the Green Bay Packers Inc. Let's see, Mark Murphy. Alright, so skip over that one. You have the Houston Texans, the McNair family. Edomites, by the way. You know what I mean? But they're not so-called Jews as far as they're saying here. Okay, so now you have Jim Irsay, the owner of the Indianapolis Colts. So here's what it says. His father was from a Hungarian Jewish family. So he's a so-called Jew, man. Jim Irsay, so-called Jew. See? No Jakes up to yet, man. No Jakes is the owners of these franchises that Jake is 80% of the workforce, so to say. You have Shahid Khan, which he's a so-called, he's the owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's a Pakistani, Elamite, a heathen. You know what I mean? He's not an Israelite. So next you have the Kansas City Chiefs. So you have Clark Hunt. Let's see. Edomite. Doesn't say that he's a so-called Jew, but he's an Edomite nonetheless. Next you have Carol and Mark Davis, mother and son, Edomites. Doesn't really say they're Jews or not, but they're Edomites from the pictures I'm seeing here. You understand? Next you have The Los Angeles Chargers, Dane Spanos. Doesn't say. Doesn't really have his lineage here. Oh, his Greek ancestry. Greeks, was the Greeks go back to Edomites, the Edomite Greeks. But you have Jake Greeks, but 9 times out of 10, this guy is an Edomite. Now, I mean, to get in them high positions, you have to be of that Edomite heritage. You understand? Because it's all a club, man. It's all a brotherhood. You understand? So you have the Los Angeles Rams, Stan Kroenke. Let's see, this guy's a so-called Jew. Okay, so he doesn't really have his lineage. So on to the next one. You have the Miami Dolphins, owned by Stephen M. Ross. Ross was raised in a Jewish family in Detroit. So that's 5 so far. Four still up here. Four so-called Jews that own NFL team franchises. Which is a lot. Being that ain't no so-called Jews playing in the league, you understand? Just a bunch of Negroes. But they're running the shit though. Next you have Zygi Wilf. Zygi Wilf. His parents Joseph and Elizabeth Wilf are Polish Jews and Holocaust survivors. So there you go, man. They done came up, you understand? So that's 5 so far. Zygi Wilf. Zygi Wilf. Boom. He's the owner of the Minnesota Vikings. Then you have the famous Robert Kraft. Tom Brady and Robert Kraft. Everybody know this guy. He's a so-called Jew, if I could remember correctly. Yes, he's a so-called Jew, man. Jewish. He donates to the generation of the Jews. He received Israel's prestigious Genesis Prize. I mean, he pledged $20 million to establish a foundation that will fight anti-Semitism. Yeah, how much he donated to the hood, man? How much he donated to South Bronx? How much he donated to Boston? And because he's from New England Patriots, is based out of Boston, right? How much he donated to Roxbury? You know, I mean, all them grimy hoods over there in Boston with Jake suffering, man. Jake, Judah Benjamin, and Levi suffering over there in Boston, man. But you donated to what? His people, man. Showing you what? The racism, you understand? The racism. You know what I mean? He looking out for his own, man. So, hey, that's 6 so far, man. 6. So, let's see. Continue on. So, now you have Gail Benson of the New Orleans Saints. Doesn't have any Jewish. But she went to a Jesuit school. So, she juiced in, man. You understand? She juiced in same way. So you have the New York Giants. And they own 50% by John Mara. It doesn't really have whether he's a Jew or not here. And then you have Steve Tisch. See? Jewish, man. His family is Jewish. So he owned 50% of the New York Giants, man, which is one of the biggest NFL franchises, man. Steve Tisch, because New York is like the biggest market in America, man. So you know he making bank. The New York Giants is one of the most famous football teams, man. So now you have the New York Jets, owned by Robert Johnson, an Edomite. Doesn't say whether he's a Jew or not, so we leave him off the list for now. Next you have Jeffrey Lurie. Lurie was this is the owner of the Philadelphia Eagles, man. That my man, he checked Deshaun Jackson, man. They find him and shit, man. Why? Because that's his owner, man. Jeffrey Lurie, a so-called Jew, man. You understand? So that's why Deshaun Jackson got put in check right quick, man. And he had to cop the plea. He had to turn around what he was saying about the so-called Jews not being the real Jews, man. Why? Because his owner, man, is a so-called Jew. Jeffrey Lurie. You understand? So let's write it. So that's another one. And another one. So-called Jewish family. So you have Art Rooney of the of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Rooney. It doesn't really say whether he's a Jew or not, but he's a so-called he's a Edomite, so-called white man. You have the San Francisco 49ers, the Denise Bartello York. Might be an Italian Jew or something. But hey, it doesn't say whether or not she's a Jew here. But she's probably a crypto Jew. Next you have Jody Allen, which is the owner of the Seattle Seahawks. Doesn't really say he's a Jewish. But hey, he's an Edomite nonetheless. He's an Edomite nonetheless. Salakia. Saying, man. Dropping the phone. Saying they don't want his truth to come out, man. Because this is the chief house of Amalek getting exposed. So the next owner is Brian Glazer, the owner of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. See, he donates to the Jewish, the Brian Glazer family Jewish Community Center, man. He's a so-called Jew, man. You understand? The Brian Glazer Family Jewish Community Center. So another so-called Jew. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And you wonder why Jake in the predicament that he's in, man. Because who's running things? So-called Jews. So the next owner is owner of the Houston Texans, Amy Adams Strong. Let's see. Okay, so it doesn't have whether she's a Jew or not, but Edomite nonetheless. Dan Schneider, the owner of the Redskins, which they just changed their names, man, because their name is a known derogatory term for our brothers, the so-called Native Americans, Redskins, you understand? And his family is Jewish. So he was the owner of a team with a derogatory name, man. Of one of the derogatory names of what our brothers, Native Americans, and he didn't have a problem with it, man. So showing you what? That these so-called Jews are racist, man. You understand? They're the main progenitors of the destruction of you so-called Negroes, West Indians, and Native Americans, man. And he was the last one. He's the last owner that that's part of the that I went through, man. So out of about 30 teams, you have 10 that are openly Jewish, man. So that's what? 33%, man. And 38, that's illuministic in itself, man. You understand? So, hey, man, 10 out of 30, man, is so-called Jews. So what's that telling you, man? That they the one wrong things, man. You understand? They're the one who run things, and you Jakes, man, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you are in subjection to them, man. That's why you have to do what they say, man. They tell you don't kneel for the national anthems. You Jake ain't kneeling, man. Why? Because you want that check. You understand? Because why? They control things, man. They determine whether you get paid or not, man. They determine whether you're able to feed your family or not. Now, you know what I mean? Why? Because, hey, we under the curses. You understand? This is the book of Job 9:24. Once again, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? Can't say, hey, if this Edomite man, this so-called white man, this so-called Jew, in the devil, man, in the evil man upon the earth, who is doing this, man? Who is doing this? Who? Is it the Japanese? Is it the Indonesians? Is it the Filipinos? Is it the South Africans? No, it's the so-called Jews along with their brethren, the so-called white people, man, whether it be French, Dutch, English, so on and so forth. They don't want running things, you understand? They don't want running the sports industry. They don't want running Hollywood, all these things. Why? Because Job 9:24 says what? The earth is given into the hand of the wicked, man. And until they are taken out of power via Yahweh Shai, you jakes are always going to be in subjection, man. Ain't no coming out of it without Yahweh Shai, man. Point blank, period. And with that, I want to say all praises be to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Harukakodash. Double honors to the apostles, what elders of great millstone who rule well. And shalom to the sensei brethren Akim out there across the four winds, the four corners of the globe, pushing this word in truth and sincerity. Shalom.